Well, aside from the one unfortunate European qualifying draw we had earlier this season, and of course the couple of results that went either side of it, we've been doing okay against the poorer opposition this year. However, the next four matches over the next two episodes will be a bit more of a yardstick of where we are this season. We face Porto, we face Braga, we face Benfica, and we've got a big cup tie. So the next two episodes will be really season defining and show whether we're going to be battling for the top two or maybe in a battle for the best of the rest. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 54 of the Coach's Head with me, Daniel. We are back today for the first two games in a massive run of four for us. We face Benfica at home and we've got a big cup tie just 3 days later to make sure we get through in the League Cup, which is going to be important given the fact that we're not playing in the last fixture. We got three on the board, but we need to make it six if we're to have any chance of getting through. We also faced Benfica, who were the champions last year, and this season are doing pretty well in truth. They've dropped 4 points, as have we. Porto have just dropped three, which was actually last week after a European tie. So both of those sides looking incredibly formidable, as are Braga, who are level on points with us. So over the next couple of episodes, we're going to find out a lot about this Sporting Lisbon team and maybe find out why they were fifth or sixth in previous seasons, or alternatively find out why losing to Nottingham Forest wasn't such a disaster. If you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, starting with two of the big ones at home today, then please do chuck a thumbs up on it. A quick reminder that after the transfer window shut, nothing else has happened. There were a couple of offers for players from outside of leagues where the window had closed, but none of them ended up going out. So we're basically left with what we had before, which is a good squad, but a couple of areas where there's not greatness. I think that would be a fair summary. If we go and have a look at the schedule though, we have had a fair few games off camera. And one of the things that surprised me, until the last game at least, is how solid defensively we've been. And overall, since we've been here, has been a base of clean sheets and then a lot of second half goals. You were with me as we played Forest, Oliver Enze, and had deadline day. Since then, a 2-0 win at Gil Vicente. A red card helped us out, but we were already 2 up at that point. Just made it a bit more easy to see out. Hervenhov and Gabriel Silva got a goal apiece. Callum Doyle, surprisingly on penalty taking duties. Probably shows how bad most of them are rated. I was at home to Aruca with Pedro Mendes, the youngster, getting a second. Injured for this game, but what a player he's becoming. A superstar of the future of this club. And he also saved the day away at our second opponents today by getting the goal that got us a point there in a game where we probably should have won. One of our better performances, but hopefully we'll be able to put that right in midweek. Against Estrella in the League Cup, a 3-0 win. We only brought in Mamadou Fernandes up front because we had to have two Portuguese under-21s in the starting lineup. It's a rule for the League Cup. Mamadou Fernandes was brought in. He was the only other one in the squad. And he scored 2 goals in 4 minutes. He looked fantastic. And he's since had a couple of opportunities because of that. Federico Redondo got the other. It was basically game over at half time. After the international break, we won 3-0 at home to Santa Clara. First half, we were impatient. We tried to take on a few too many long shots. We got it right in the second half, though, with 2 for Gabriel Silva, and this time, Denis Telehovsky on penalty duty. A 1-0 win at Casapia was not convincing, but we got the goal in the end. John Hervenhov, the man who delivered it. Didn't have such a struggle for goals away at second tier Firenze, though. A 6-0 victory there with Otavio and Zacharias getting one apiece, Rorado and Argard getting one apiece, and Mamadou Fernandes getting 2 again. Seems to be the way he does his scoring. We then had this bizarre 6-3 in midweek where we started conceding goals for fun, but we did get a hat-trick from Denis Telehovsky from midfield. Vataru was back from injury with a goal. Brazanka came off the bench and got a pen, one of the things he can still do at 34. And John Hervenhov, he's not been brilliant this season, but he's popping up with a few. And that one made it a very comfortable victory, despite the fact the defence left a little to be desired. So let's go through to the weekend fixture with that in mind. We've got a massive game against the champions. For a little bit of context here, Benfica have won 5 titles in a row. They're the only other side in the league that are unbeaten this year. They have dropped points, a few silly ones, but we're talking against decent sides and both away from home. So this is an opportunity for us in a home fixture to really try and put it right. They did have their Champions League game on Tuesday, so they've had plenty of rest for this. And I would imagine they're going to be pretty strong going into this one. Porto have already won 4-1, so the pressure is on that front. But Braga did drop points again. So let's see what we can do as we go into this one. You can see the team that played in midweek, and you can see their team is led by Rodrigo Ribeiro, someone we managed in the original head coach save this year at Bayern. They've also got João Neves in centre midfield, among a few other stars too. So the only decision I've really got to make is defensively. Gabia is now into his mid-30s, and we did concede goals in midweek. Callum Doyle is now back from injury, so I think I'm going to go for him alongside Laskowski. The rest of the team is so set in stone for first 11, to be honest. And with Pedro Mendes struggling on the bench, the only decision is who we put on for him, and it's probably going to be Vasco Souza. The other temptation, because we have good attacking midfielders, is to maybe chuck Mamadou Fernandes on the bench because he can do a job for us. But I always think that Gabriel Silva can then go up front if we need it. He's still got the quality to do that. So I'm going to stick with the 11 that played in midweek, basically, bar the one centre-half. Again, I could have bought Redondo out, but I'm not going to do so. We're going to stick with it, and we're going to hope it pays off. It is Dogan Elamda in goal. Abdurrahman erasing the right back with Kirkes over on the left. Callum Doyle alongside Laskowski in the middle. Denis Telehovsky joins Redondo in the holding role. Gabriel Silva ahead of them. And then it's Fatawu and Rivera, the two wide men behind John Hervenhov, yet to really get going up front. But hopefully, tonight will be the night. A big game against Benfica, and we show what we're all about. Well, two changes made today for Benfica. A couple of notable experienced players on the bench. Still only 30 years of age is Giovanni Reina. Alvarez is in his early 30s as well, the former Manchester City man, now at Atletico Madrid, of course. And a few good players in the first team. Sam Boyes comes in, which is interesting, a young Englishman. Let's go and get through to this one, though. Carry on where we left off, and just hope that the first half performance is a superstar one, because anything other than our best, and I think we might be in a little bit of trouble in this game. A level of opposition domestically that we just haven't faced yet this year. Well, I've got to say, it's been a very quiet 20 minutes. We've had a few chances on the stats, but no highlights. And now, he's given a penalty. And a racing's already on a yellow. We might be in trouble here. He's going over to the monitor. Now, when we've had this situation or scenario in the Scottish leagues on the Twitch save, normally when they've gone to the screen, they've then changed their decision. And normally in real life, if they go to the screen, they change the decision. So let's hope that having awarded that penalty, he's now going to be told to change his decision, say no pen and move on with the game. Referee says no penalty. We get away with one. Would have been a shame as well because we've had a really good start. You can see the referee wants the big boys to perform. Benfica still had no shot on target, and now we're at the other end with a free kick. Fatawu chips in. It's a lovely routine. Silva with a great touch. I thought he was offside at first. In the end, he probably should have done a bit better with that. Just went a little bit too close to the keeper and narrowed his angle too much. As Silva's going to be on corner duty towards the back post. It's away as far as the goalkeeper who deals with that comfortably. Not really finding that back post enough here. And that's not helping us score goals as Carlos gets the ball wide. Now Benfica on the attack. After a slow start, and after maybe a bit of a cagey start, it's turning into an end-to-end battle. Bellanova down the right. Good ball in. Deflects all over the place and it's off the line. And Gabriel Silva can't quite get there. Then gives away a silly foul as we try and mount a counter. Carlos puts it in. That one will be a penalty. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And the fact he's not going to the screen tells you everything. VAR will check and confirm the decision. And that was just so avoidable. From giving away the free kick to giving away the penalty. Really poor decisions. Can Durgan Elamdar be a hero? Rego steps up. Right-footed. Sends the keeper the wrong way. There is still a little bit between us and the top teams in the division. João Rego makes it 1-0 to Benfica. A pretty even start on paper. Silly decisions costing us at the back. Or throwing on the right-hand side for Benfica here as they get towards the byline with Jose Carlos. Good ball into the back post and the goalkeeper just completely rooted to his goal line. It was less than 6 yards out. He's really got to come and claim that. In the end, the header goes over, but you can see that that goal has turned the screw. Solback and working forward now. Erasing, he's been caught out again. Rego's hit the woodwork, but not only did he risk a red card there, he was miles out of position. Really not doing great. I know we've generally said we get stuck in on the team instructions and it's not harmed us before, but it is starting to in this match, isn't it? Having said that, we've still not had a red card this season. Famous last words, I know. We've had plenty more with teams where we've told them to stay on their feet. You can see the lads are a bit anxious. I'm going to throw a bit of encouragement. Keep going and get the win you deserve. No reaction to the anxiety. No reaction to the frustration and nerves. Not what we were looking for. Hopefully, the boys can produce a miracle because at the moment, they just don't look happy. We're 5 minutes into the second half and maybe we're starting to see where the block is here. It's perhaps a mentality thing. It's arguably the belief that is the difference between us and the top sides when we've got our first 11 out. No doubt we've not got the same squad depth, but we've got ability. A Silva gets in and I await the flag, which doesn't go up. Silva seemed to have beat the offside trap and dink it over the keeper. But is this going to be disallowed? VAR will check and the goal is awarded. A brilliant run from the shadow striker. He just glances in behind the centre halves who are being occupied by Hervenhov. And he is becoming a superstar here as Kenan picks it up from the kickoff. Don't go and concede straight away, please. Into the box towards Ribeiro. Oh my God. It is literally from the kickoff. We don't touch the ball after scoring before Benfica go back ahead. It's another one of these weird spells, and I mentioned it in a Southend save a few times the last couple of weeks. You can have 3, 4, 5 clean sheets in a row and then just suddenly concede 3 or 4 out of nowhere. As Hervenov on the edge of the box tries to go for the shot. That's closer to the corner flag than the goal. It's not been a bad performance, you know. Take the penalty aside, it's been a very even match as Fatawu gets the ball into the box towards Rivera. Be so much confidence building if we could nick a draw as well. The Silva shot is saved. It's behind for a corner kick. Can we finally get the delivery right on one of these? Fatawu will be there with the in-swinger. Towards the back post, Laskowski's up. We've just not got that physicality in there. We've not even got the big centre forward. It's something that we are missing in this team. So let's just see out this one and then we'll make some changes. As Kirkes throws into Rivera and Silva. Lovely touch again. He's been brilliant. Great run. Oh, magic. Good save by the goalkeeper. It's almost turning into a 1v1 battle here. Tenas the goalkeeper v Gabriel Silva. And that is deciding the match at the minute. Silva's corner this time. It's pretty poor again. If he could take a corner, that kid, he'd be pretty spectacular. Well, around 20 to go. We're not seeing any sign of a comeback. So we're going to change both fullbacks. We're going to bring on Volleson and we're going to bring on Volken. We're going to take off Redondo for the experienced man, I think. Or are we? Yes, we are. We're going to bring on Continella. We're not going to bring on Braganca. We're going to go Fatawu off on the right. Otavio will have to come on because we haven't got Pedro Mendes. And Hervenhov, someone I shouldn't really be leaving on, but I'm going to. We'll take Telehovsky off for Braganca. We will go for experience. We've got to protect legs as well because this isn't our ultimate aim this year. It's not going to be a one season you win the title. This is about being competitive. As Silva puts it in, headers half away. And out towards the edge to Rivera, who's found himself on the right-hand side. Into Silva. Otavio. And the substitute squeezes it in. I thought Tenas would have saved that. He got a big enough hand on it, but it must have just had too much power. The flex off him into the roof of the net. And it's Sporting Lisbon 2, Benfica 2. And a goal for Otavio, the substitute, who makes an instant impact. With 10 minutes to go. Do you know what? A draw would be a fair result here. We've got to earn it now. As Silva finds Volken and Rivera. Couldn't get better, could it? Challenge finds Continella and Silva. Now Volken on the left-hand side. The fresh fullbacks just giving us a bit of impetus going down the wide areas. As Volken puts it into John Hervenhov. That's why we left him on. John Hervenhov is starting to pop up with a few late goals now. And that one is a crucial one. Sporting Lisbon 3. Champions Benfica 2. And we are giving ourselves a right chance. It's been a brilliant effort. A really good display. There are 5 minutes added on. And with 3.5 of them to go, we're going to get the time wasting on. You're going to have to forgive me here. Otavio and Rivera will drop back to standard midfield positions. Just your bog standard wingers on support. Fullbacks, defensive ones, please. Don't need any pressure going forward. I was going to say we're going to put Continella on a defensive duty, but we're not going to. That doesn't help us. We are, though, going to drop to a balanced mentality. We're going to slow the pace down. We're going to time waste all the time. And we might... I was going to say play for set pieces. That doesn't help us the way we've been taking them. So let's just be a bit more disciplined. Let's slow it down. Let's hold our shape when we win possession. And let's also bring back that line of engagement. We're not going to get stuck into challenges. We're going to drop off. We're going to sit in a shape. And we're going to hope we can see out these 3 minutes for what would be a remarkable and probably a just about deserved result. Sporting Lisbon 3, Benfica 2. And no European football is helping. We're starting to take this side back to the big time. That was a remarkable turnaround. And the substitutes, boy, did they work a treat. Vulcan, Otavio, Continella, all crucial. Now let's get ahead to midweek and see if we can do the job in the cup as well. We need a bit of revenge on that side. We need to make sure we get through. Well, time for the big second game. We play against the side that we didn't beat earlier in the season, but we know a victory will send us through in a League Cup. You can see we've got quite fortunate because if you look at some of the other groups, well, Braga are playing Benfica. Don't know how they've ended up in the same one. So let's get through the tactical meeting. Let's see how many of this team are fit. It's a very hard judging job. We've been quite fortunate that the games are all 4 days apart and then there's a week off. So I don't think we need to rotate too much, but we will just have to freshen up 1 or 2, I feel. Going to leave Doyle in alongside Laskowski. He's been fine after returning from injury. And of course, you've got to remember that we need to have 2 under-21 starters, which means Mamadou Fernandes and Pedro Mendes will come into the team. And the bench has 12 players, so that's not a big issue from that front. Berardo will go onto the bench as well. The players going out are Fatawu, who has played 3 or 4 after injury. Mendes in for him. Hervenhov will obviously drop out. He'll be replaced by Fernandes. And I also want to get Otavio in. He did really well off the bench there for Rivera. Defensively, I'm not going to change quite so much. I feel we've been fairly solid. But I am going to bring in Continella for Redondo and put Telehovsky on the other side. So not a complete turnaround. 2 of the changes enforced. We've got to start the under-21s. Otavio rewarded for a great performance off the bench, as was Continella, to be fair. And the only other one that's tempting is Vulcan at left back, but I can probably do that off the bench yet again. So let's go and get through to it with 4 changes made. In come Continella, Otavio, Mendes, Fernandes. Can the 2 young boys star? And can everyone else cope with the match load? Let's go and find out. I do really get annoyed by some of the messages here, I've got to say. We had a few things in the dressing room about the players being unhappy at the team selection and that players like Mamadou Fernandes shouldn't be starting. It's literally a rule of the competition. Please fix and understand that. We go into this game against Pedro Caixinha's side, and it's going to be a pretty tough one. He's got a decent team. They've started the season all right. They've got a few good players, particularly on the bench that we know. They made lots of changes for this, though, so I'm hoping that they're going largely for a rotated side. That they're bringing in the number 1 in goal, the number 3 at left back, and the number 11 is the skipper up front. It's making me think there's a few first teamers in. But I've mentioned it to you before. I want to win a trophy this year. And if that means we go too strong in some of these games, I'm more than happy to take the criticism because I want to win. We've not got Europe now. These players would have been playing an extra, well, predicted by the board, an extra 12 matches because they wanted to get to the quarterfinals. There's no excuse for them not to play in these ones. And if Braga can put Benfica out, that would be absolutely lovely. Though we've got to do our job and we're defending at the moment. João Pereira in. And arrogance is of the highest order today because we're talking about getting through and winning the competition. And 12 minutes in, we're a goal down. Really poor defending. Again, I asked the same question. Cross into the 6-yard box. We've got a goalkeeper who's got a pretty good command of his area, apparently. He's just not coming for them. And the amount of times there's headers 3, 4, 5 yards out is becoming a big concern for me. We've not offered a lot in this game. And it is becoming an issue that when it really comes to the big moments, we're not stepping up from the start. We relied on the subs at the weekend, and it might be the same here. As Pereira puts it in, Alemda does better this time. But we have not looked particularly good in this match, and we're going to need a response. As Alemda goes long the goalkeeper towards the centre forward Fernandes, who will chase. Oh, he's done brilliantly. Mamadou Fernandes, the shot's woeful. But it's hard to be too critical because that's phenomenal play. To bring it down and then take it round the defender. As Mendes corner to the back post, headed up. And it's a penalty, I think. I didn't see much in that, but Callum Doyle is down on the deck. And based on what we saw a few weeks ago, he might even be taking this. Although, I think Continella's on as well, isn't he? Who takes it? Dinis Telehovsky. Neither of them. Let's see if he can produce. He scored a fair few goals this year, both from the spot and otherwise. And that is cool as a cucumber. Curls it into the top corner, waited for the keeper to dive the other way. We're back on terms. Not sure we deserve it too much, but We've got ourselves back in the game, and that's all I really care about. Benfica have turned it around at Braga, Porto doing their job as well. The big boys are still getting through. We need another goal here. Gonna say I'm not happy with what I've seen. I'm less happy with this performance than the Sporting one, despite the fact we're not behind here. But I do think we're going to have to freshen it up with new legs soon. Fernandes maybe does have to come off. We have to have two starting. They don't have to finish the game. We might be able to bring on Hervenhov yet, though the youngster Pedro Mendes has nicked it. Getting down the right after a brilliant start to the season. To the byline, good ball across his blocked. Continello though. Telehovsky to Otavio. Not quite the same impact from the start. Telehovsky to Mendes. Into Silva. Good save by the keeper. It's gone out for a corner. I was waiting for the offside, but Mendes is such a great youngster. Look at him again. Can he find the right corner delivery? Towards the back post. It's a good one. Headed away again as far as Fernandes. He brings it back in on his favoured left foot. Looks for Doyle. Into the box to Otavio. Really heavy touch. It's cleared downfield. This is a much better start to the second half, though. We're dominating the game. The expected goals has crept up. But unfortunately, we've not managed to convert that into an actual goal. As Alfredo at the back finds his centre-half partner. Fernandes closing down, but not really getting there. Just need that moment. We go 2-1 up. I think we'll win this comfortably. As Forsgren gets down the right. Might yet go 2-1 down. Otavio wins it back though for Doyle. Good defensive work. Doubling up in wide areas. And it allows Kirkes to bring the ball away with Doyle. And now Continella. Out to Kirkes. Carry it forward. Show some ambition. Here we go. Kirkes to Telehovsky. Continella into midfield. Finds Silva. Mendes making the run. Oh, it's a really heavy touch. The clearance is Porto to Otavio. Mendes in again. Much better this time. Pedro Mendes, the youngster. Oh, 5 goals already. He's got more assists than that as well. This is a kid that is making shockwaves in Portuguese football. And long after we've gone, that boy is going to be a superstar. Let's get to about 65 minutes. Then we will make some subs. And hopefully think about the weekend too. Silva can come off for Zacharias, another of the younger players. I could bring Braganca on. And I think I'm going to for Telehovsky. I'm going to take Laskowski off on a yellow card for Gabia. We're going to take a racing off at right back for Valaisen. And I might as well do Vulcan on the left for Kirkes. I don't think there's any value in taking Fernandes off here. We don't need to bring Hervenhov on. He can have his rest now. We're 2-1 up. Let's just enjoy the rest of the day. 20 minutes to go. To be honest, they've not looked a threat since scoring. And we've looked an almighty threat in this second half. It's just whether we can turn this now into a convincing win, which doesn't really look like it at the minute. It's gone a bit quiet since the goal. But 2-1 is just as good and it gets us through. Let's see if we can cling on for this result. Not going to go for the time wasting here. I don't want to invite pressure. There's 4 minutes added. We've seen the game out brilliantly. And just like the other big boys, the traditional big boys of Portuguese football, we are through in the League Cup. And I want a trophy. That gives me an opportunity. Well done, boys. Good win. One of the youngsters shining and starring in the show. Let's go and get through to the schedule. I think you know when we're next going to be back. Let's go and have a look, because that Porto game now could take on even more significance. No injuries for both games. We're through to the semi-final. And if you look at the other teams that are going to go through from it, it does look like it's going to be the obvious. Benfica should be through unless Braga get hammered by the other team. Porto might be out, actually. If Estoril get a point against Rio Ave, they're going out. And it looks like there might be a minnow going through from the third phase. So it might not be as bad as it looks. If we can get to the semis and avoid Benfica, we should have a cup final on our hands. We're the first team through. We're the first team to pick up 6 points. We're thrilled with that. Let's go and have a look at the schedule, though, because we are going to be back. It's just a bit weird the way it's worked out for the next 2 games, because our big games have fallen together. We've got Braga away in a league at the weekend, a side that haven't lost a game, I don't think, apart from against Sporting and Benfica. They haven't. They've lost 2 games. Otherwise, only 2 draws, much like us. And then we're at home to Porto, who at the moment, after 5 years without a title, are the runaway team. Yes, they've just lost their first of the season. They're still the league leaders and a team to beat at the moment. So if you're looking forward to that one, as all the big games come at once in this Portuguese season, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the thrilling turnaround against Benfica. And to be fair, the turnaround in the cup in midweek. 2 good results, and young Pedro Mendes is starting to look like a proper star. Has our academy got another Cristiano Ronaldo on its hands? It may well do. If you're looking forward to finding out how the rest of the season goes, and whether part 2 of our big quadruple header goes just as well. And please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days to find out the answer, returning to the normal schedule this week. And in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow with Southend United, and things there continue to be a little bit tricky this season. There's also links in the eye above to the football podcast, where we've got championship predictions every match day, and a Twitch channel for regular live streams, including tonight, so come and join us there for a watch along and some FM action. But for now, thank you very much for watching, for joining me for a massive double header. The way the Portuguese schedule's worked, another one is following it, and I'll see you in a couple of days' time to see if we get on just as well.